Hello you lot, Miller Corner here. Welcome back once again to the inside of the Little Nugget, where for a couple of years now I've had these Abarth 500 seats that I've fitted. I maintain these are a great budget upgrade for a Seicento or Cinquecento. You can buy them for a couple of £100. They look really nice, they're not too difficult to fit, they're comfortable, they're reasonably supportive, and particularly if you're on the taller side, they do offer a bit more headroom than the standard Seicento sporting seats. But we've all got slightly different shaped bodies and as a result seats that fit us differently. And these aren't quite right for me, sadly. For a start, they don't hold me quite tightly enough in the lower body, and in the upper body, where I'm very broad-shouldered, I've got nothing. So on a really tight corner, if I'm really going for it, legally of course, I do find myself rolling around in the seat. And also, I find the seat bases, particularly the driver's one, a little bit too high, which does mean I've got my legs at this kind of 90-degree angle, and that means on a longer drive, I can end up with pain in my legs. So today, I'm going to put in some seats slightly better suited to my body shape and my seating position, and not to worry, these are already going to a good home, they've been pre-sold, but before we can fit the new ones, we've got to take the old ones out. After unbolting, removing and selling the old seats and then hoovering the car while they're out, because if you don't do that you're mental, it's time to reveal the new seats. It's a new day, as you can tell by the change of clothes, and a very, very hot one, as you can tell by the hat and the sunglasses. It's over 35 degrees today, I think, so you'll forgive me for filming this over several days and over several different outfits. But anyway, here are the seats I've chosen. BB5 buckets from Bad Boy Classics, or Bad Boy Seats, whichever you refer to them as. And these are a single piece fixed back bucket seat, which I really, really like. I think they look great. They've got kind of a Corbeau Recaro type look to them, but also crucially, they fit my slightly peculiar proportions. They've got quite a narrow space here to keep my hips held tight, but then quite a broad shoulder area so I can fit tightly without rolling around. Now, I got these for a bit of a deal from a guy on Facebook Marketplace who sadly didn't fit in them quite right, so he had to pull them out of his 68 Camaro drag car. Very cool indeed. So we're going to something equally cool and fast very soon. You might have noticed there's only one seat here, so I'm going to unwrap a little bit of YouTube magic for you. Quite a lot of times when there's two sides to something, whether it's changing suspension or changing wheels or brakes or whatever, it's not uncommon for a YouTuber to do that off camera first to see how to do it and kind of learn it, and then do the second one on camera so you've got a video, and indeed that's what I've done in this case. So before we get into actually fitting this into the car, there's a few different things we need to do. For a start, the mounts. This has got what's called side mounts, so they're 90-degree L-shaped brackets that bolt to the side of the seat and just go straight down with a load of universal holes running down there to fit into the car. But sadly, as standard, these runners do not fit the Seicento. So the first thing I've got to do is put them in the car, measure the distance between the front and the rear seat mounting holes, and then drill them out. Then when that's done, we can flip them around and bolt the seat to them. Right, so this is where the curse of universal parts will get you, where basically if you don't buy anything specifically fitted for your car, it is a universal one-size-fits-all idea. But the trouble is that very much one size doesn't really fit anything. So roughly lining it up here, look, I can get that bottom of the seat mount is kind of halfway into that bolt hole, so I'll have to open that one out a bit to get that half in. You can't really see it top down. There you go, you can kind of get an idea there. Same with the back one here, I'll just open that out a half and then that'll be all good to go. But on this side, as you can see, that runner does not actually bottom out. It's hitting what is technically not the transmission tunnel because it's front wheel drive, but the hump in the floor where the centre console goes. So before we can do any kind of adapting, I'm going to have to shave a good amount of width off of that seat mount and then work out where the holes don't line up. Great. It's the hottest day of the year so far, so I'm going to try and do this, but I may bail and then do this on a day where I'm not slowly melting in front of you. But a couple of days later, thanks to my girlfriend's brother, who is very handy with an angle grinder and a welder, go and follow him on Instagram, by the way, he's quite handy restoring his Volvo V40, which is very interesting. He has modified the seat mount for me. He's cut that down considerably, as well as that weird arm that was on the end there. I think that was a bit that the previous owner of these seats put on to make them fit in his car. But anyway, that's cut down, so now I'm going to bolt this back onto the seat, and hopefully it can fit on the floor pan of the car, and then we can adapt it to fit. Right, so I've just placed the seat in and very tentatively taken a gentle test sit, apologies for these again, and it looks like there is some modification to do. So what I've done is just put the bolts for the front on the front of the bracket on both sides. So there's one, there is two, as you can see down there. Now that's all well and good, but then you look towards the back, that doesn't even meet up with the hole. In fact, you can still see some of the hole poking out there. So we've got to move the whole arrangement back a little bit, and on this side, it's very much the same. So what we need to do, I think, is elongate these front holes, which shifts the hole arrangement backwards a tiny bit to then allow these holes to line up for then drilling holes in there. But the good news is the clearancing work we've done does fit. Look, it's tight, but you can get your finger in there. I'm calling that good enough. So for now, I'm going to mark these areas here very carefully and then elongate these holes with a nice step drill I've just bought myself, very handy. And then when the fronts are in, then we can do the backs, hopefully. After a lot of struggling and fiddling, and if I'm completely honest, drilling 3 or 4 different holes over the various sides, I've now got the front 2 bolts mounted in. There's one, there's 2 you can kind of see down there, and believe me, the axis is even harder than it looks on camera. I have had a very quick little test sit, but even just with the fronts mounted in, that looks awesome, doesn't it? I'm so excited to get these done. These are going to be fantastic. Now, when it comes to the rear ones, we've not got a lot to play with because the rear bolt hole there is under there. So I've got not a great deal to play with. So I'm going to have to mark where the hole's going to be again with a knife or a screwdriver or something, drill in there, and then the same is going to have to happen down there. You might be able to see I've got a little bit more to play with on this side because what we can only establish is probably an unsymmetrical floor. Mock those up, seat out, mount off, drill, pray, seat, skid, in a safe and controlled manner and environment. But first, in an equally safe and controlled manner and environment, I drill out the rear mounting holes, checking several times to make sure it's all square, and eventually and that is 2 bucket seats mounted. I'm so chuffed with that. I can't even begin to tell you how much time behind the scenes this has taken, hours and hours, because I've just been doing this kind of in my lunch break and time after work and whatever, coming out, drilling holes, having to bolt it all back on the seat, putting it, finding it's 2 mil out, finding there's a gap in between 2 holes that I've drilled that doesn't fit. There's been a lot more stress involved in this than I can ever begin to imagine. And if you're more skilled with fabrication and metalwork stuff than I am, the amount of time this has taken, you would have either just made your own mounts, which is something we may experiment with one day, or measured it and done it properly the first time round. I've never done anything like this before. Generally, it's just been line them up, drill some things out. It's been good. So I'm not going to pretend this has been easy, but it's in. And the result of that, for me, being in the car, solid, not going anywhere, is perfect. And that cover's come away there. I just put that back on. But yes, winning. So now we've got it in, got to get it straight back out again. Let me explain why. So these are bucket seats, and as you can see by these holes coming through the back here, they're primarily designed to be used with racing harnesses. The idea is you have a half cage or even a full roll cage, and then a harness bar back there that goes the full width of the car. You run harnesses through them, and then they anchor you down in place. There's even slots here for them to go through. I believe you can run up to 5 or even 6 point harnesses with these, and that's cool if you've got a race car. But this is not a race car, despite appearances. It's a road car, and harnesses on the road suck. They hold you in place. That means you can't even reach the radio, let alone toll booths and drive through windows and all that kind of thing. Harnesses on a road car are a big no-no. I really don't fancy that. So you need to add some seatbelt mounts. Like this one here. These buckles came with my fancy new red seatbelts, which I'm loving, by the way. And the idea I had initially was to just put them in the side mounts here for the seats. Just bolt it on like that. Obviously, it'd be on the other side because the seatbelt goes over you for when you're on the driver's side. However, these seatbelt buckles, as I'm sure you can see here, are not long enough. When they go in there, they will not actually clear. They'll foul with the body of the seat itself, and that means you can't get a bolt in, which means the mount then doesn't go in square, and then it all just goes to cock. Thankfully, though, my dad, as ever, came to the rescue with these brackets. Now, these are actually specifically designed for putting seatbelt buckles into wheelchair-converted disabled cars. So the idea is that if you've got a minibus or something you need to put a wheelchair in the back of, this lengthens the length of the total buckle, but also, you'll notice, spaces it out. So then it gives more room for the wheelchair to fit around with the seatbelt on it. And sure enough, that's going to go on there, replace one of the bolts on the mounts, moves the buckle to there, and obviously put it on the other side, and then it will work. And I can prove that. I've already done it with the passenger side, and you'll notice that fits perfectly. I've already test fitted that. The seatbelt buckle goes all the way over. There is one slight issue though, which is, of course, now you have to accommodate the thickness of that bracket as well as the thickness of the seat mounting bracket, and these standard bolts are not long enough. So I had to go and buy new bolts. These are exactly the same thread because thankfully I ran this random piece of threaded bar that is exactly the same pitch and thread had, as the bolts that go into these mounts, I went to the local hardware shop and basically test fitted a load of bolts onto this threaded nut here until I found one that was the same. Sure enough, got two of these. I think these were like 40 or 50p each or something. As you can see, that fits perfectly. So now all I have to do, take the seat off the mounts again, then add the bracket with the extended buckle on there and this bolt to hold it all in. And then finally, I can bolt it all down and then I think we're done. With the seatbelt buckle and extended bracket slotted onto the seat mount and the longer bolt holding it all in place, I do it all up rock tight, carry it back to the car, and finally my bucket seats are fitted. And while we're on a winning streak, there's time for one more quick fix. This is my boot, as you can see, and if you lift it up, the struts are getting a little bit lazy. They're a bit slow to come up and sometimes they actually need a push to get it all the way up. And when you get up close, you can see there is a fair bit of misting of oil on there. I think if this was a shock absorber, you would get an MOT advisory, maybe even a fail for that actually. You can, yeah, it does make your finger a bit greasy. Not very nice indeed. Note my new boot pull, by the way. The other thing is you can buy new boot struts for Seicentos, but if you go online and try and buy a pair of these, to get them delivered in the UK, you're looking at 25, 30, maybe even 40 quid for two boot struts. Bearing in mind my dad just spent 11 quid to put two struts on his car, I wasn't paying that. But what you have to do is think laterally, because no car has unique struts. They aren't making struts for your specific car. So what you do is you measure these at full stroke, stop laughing at the back, and you find that these are 570 millimeters or 57 centimeters in old money. And that means if you tally that up online, that is exactly the same as these. Now these are not for a Seicento, these are actually for a Ford Puma, the good one from the 90s, not that horrible SUV thing, we don't talk about that. Two brand new struts for a Ford Puma, 570mm, the same as a Seicento one, and these were 14 quid, not 40, 14 quid for a pair. So big saving there, what this channel's always been about. We don't go and spend 50 grand on rotten Lotus Carltons here, we just do cheap, easy fixes and mods that you can do yourself. So there you go, big amount of money saved, Ford Puma struts, let's get them on. So there we have it. After all that work, I've got bucket seats in the Mad Little Nugget, and I love these. Absolutely awesome. They're so much more supportive than the Abarth seats. There's nothing wrong with those. I think that for a road car, they're great. But for someone with my slightly peculiar frame shape, these work so well. My shoulders held in, my midsection nicely hugged tightly, and I have driven it a little bit on the road before filming this, and it's so much better. It psychologically makes you feel like the car's handling flatter because you're not rolling around in your seat so much. Your kind of point of view is more level. So it kind of makes you feel like the car's handling flatter. It's very, very weird, but who knows? If one day we do go on track, that might be a big benefit we feel with these seats. And you know what? They're not uncomfortable either. They've got a good amount of padding to them, and these cushions on them do also come out with Velcro. So if you need to clean them or anything, you can do if your passenger's going to be excited by all the speed. And if ever I need to replace them or add padding or whatever, I know that I can. And I'm really, really glad I went with putting those seatbelts mounts. It means I can run proper normal seatbelts, not to mention my awesome new red ones, and keep this car as a usable road car. It means I'll still reach around and reach things in the cabin. I don't like running harnesses on road cars, so I'm so glad to take the few extra minutes, make it so you can still run the seatbelts. I'm really chuffed with these, and I think these fit my body shape perfectly. They are a wee bit on the narrow side because these are the small size BB5s, and that means they are the tightest. So if you like more of your pies, or to be honest, sweets in my case, you might need to look at the mediums or the large ones. But hey, it's kind of, again, a good motivator to not put too much weight on that you know you can fit in your car. So we'll find out if I can drive this car come January. But anyway, it isn't normally as complicated or as dragged out of a process as this video's made it seem. I've been doing this in my lunch break after work, and there's been times where I've had all kinds of problems. I've run out of tools, I've not had the bolts, I've had drill batteries going flat, there's been weather hitting me, it's been crazy hot obviously, all kinds of problems. That means this shouldn't take anything like as long as this did. If truth be told, if you're vaguely competent, which of course I'm not, and you've got all the tools to hand, you could easily do this in just a couple of hours. I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to feel the benefit of these seats when I'm on my dream road trip with this car later in the year. And that little cheap fix with the Ford Puma struts was just a nice bonus. Big fan of that. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to Miller Corner for all new videos that come as and when they are released, and I'll catch you very soon, everybody. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.